Oh, wait.
Whoa, don't do it. Don't do it.
Just Stop Oil, the most hated activist group in the UK, are staging one last action.
I'm here because I don't have a future.
After 3 years of trying to end fossil fuels, they've racked up over 3,000 arrests, with 15 members currently serving time in prison.
Themselves to the goalpost, they've been very quickly removed.
What is worth more, art or life?
Their campaigns cost taxpayers millions in police resources and carrying out acts of vandalism, earning them the label of eco-terrorists. But whether you love them or hate them, they claim to be one of the most successful civil resistance campaigns in recent history, with one of their key demands to end new oil and gas licenses now becoming government policy. So I went to a Just Stop Oil protest to find out who they really are and whether it was all worth it. Good afternoon, guys. So we're at a Just Stop Oil protest today. This is the last one they're going to have, and apparently they're hanging up the high vis. Obviously they've got a bit of a reputation for being disruptive and all the other stunts that you might have seen in the public eye, blocking the M25, throwing soup, throwing paint, throwing anything they can. But this is going to be the final one today. We're going to go check it out, speak to some people. There's also St George's Day protest as well in London, so it's going to be quite a busy day. We've got a couple of police officers here as well. Let's go. Is the plan to block some roads today? We'll see. Okay. All right, guys, so we've come to a standstill here at the protest. Let's check it out. Got all the press over here. Check it out. Hi, madam. See your sign, North Pole is melting. Do you want to say a few words about that?
It is.
Oh, Greece. Okay, no English. Okay. Why is net zero a scam?
Okay, well, net zero, is attacking good working people. Things like ULEZ, £12.50 a day to drive. I mean, that's absolutely insane. There's no evidence that net zero is going to work. And Agenda 2030, the Great Reset, ideas, policies, institutions which are basically forcing good working British people and also people across the West to be funneled down this route of their rights being taken away, their freedoms being disrupted, all for the sake of man-made climate change, which in my opinion is complete nonsense. I don't think we do have man-made climate change. I think that we're coming out of an ice age. I think it's a natural progression. And I think also the effects of net zero are absolutely detrimental. And then it's what it underpins. You've got low traffic neighbourhoods, people can't drive. Then you've got electric cars. You've got people who are literally in our third world countries mining cobalt so these people can drive their electric cars. It's insane. Not to mention the battery life of an electric car is absolutely dreadful. So that doesn't even make sense. The whole thing is nonsense. It's a complete psyop.
Well, yeah, the argument is that it's only a matter of time. You know, sea levels are rising, burning more fossil fuels will only just ruin the planet. Do you not agree with that?
So there's two different things. So you're talking about sustainability, which is a really great conversation to have. Like, we will run out of fossil fuels, right? That will ultimately happen. That's a great conversation. We need to be looking at nuclear, etc., and other conversations there. But then you've got things like, is it fossil fuels that is causing climate change? Well, first of all, the UK contributes to 1% of global emissions, meaning if we were to wipe the UK off the map tomorrow, nothing would happen.
Yeah, one argument I have heard is that if the UK don't do it, then countries like China and USA will say...
You think China's going to listen?
No, but...
We're 1% of the population. We've been polluting longer than any other nation. Over 200 years of polluting, 1% of the population. We use more than 1% of the wealth. China is, over 1 billion people? And what's happening there? They are using...
Thriving economy.
Yeah, but they're a capitalist nation.
Right.
China is a capitalist nation. It's the same as everywhere else, but it's trying. And it pollutes less than us and for a lot shorter than us. 50 years China has been doing this. We've been doing it over 200.
So what?
We invented steam.
So, yeah, great.
So we are responsible, not China.
So here you just get an idea of the numbers of how many protesters there are. I think maybe a couple hundred at least, taking up this whole bit of road here. And obviously a lot of police presence as well. Goes all the way down there. Check it out.
Just Stop Oil has achieved its aim, which was an end to new oil and gas. That became government policy. And I think actually all campaigns, all protests should have an aim to not exist one day.
Yeah. Was enough done? Because obviously fossil fuels are still going to be used.
There's always more that needs to be done. Obviously we've put an end in the UK to new oil and gas. Okay. The fossil fuel industry is still sending us on an absolute path to destruction.
Would you agree with the kind of, blocking the M25 and throwing the soup on the paintings?
I support I support the right to peaceful protest.
Sure.
Those were both peaceful protests. No social change has ever been achieved without some element of disruptive protest.
Yeah.
Those protests were peaceful, so I can't condemn them. But disruptive protest has been shown to work to bring about social change. So I think I can't not support them.
Yeah, I mean, a protest always has to be disruptive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way to do a protest. But
Well, I think effective, you know, and there are lots of different types. You know, I'm not going to put down anyone. You know, we need people to sign petitions. We need people to go on police organised marches. But we also do need disruptive, non-violent protest.
Oh, no, so it's happening, guys. The classic blocking of the roads. Got a guy on the guitar. The usual. So this is the argument against Just Boy about how disruptive they are. They almost, you know, they bother the general public. Man in his taxi wants to drive his car and they're blocking the road.
I'll give you a £50 ticket for unnecessary use of the hall.
Oh, come on!
Thank you.
So apparently going to do a £50 fine for using the horn.
That's crazy.
As you can see behind me, you've got a London bus full of tourists. You know, weekend in London, and then you've got these guys blocking the road. You can see the protest is building up on the left of me here. But yeah, just check it out. I don't think they are going to start moving at all. The lights are green and they're blocking the road. So I believe they are blocking the road again. Here's some sirens. Here actually later soon in Parliament Square, they are going to have the St George's protest, which we will go and have a look at. It is still early days. But, oh dear, what's going on here? Oh, someone's getting out of his car. Let's see what he does.
I've got work to do.
Hey, mate, how do you feel about them blocking the road?
I'm pissed off. I've got work to do.
See, that's what. Look at the traffic jam it's caused. I mean, all the general public is watching on. So this was one of the arguments that they didn't really help themselves to. Listen to that, guys. Bloody hell. This guy's going to turn around. But this was the argument that they didn't really help themselves for people to join their cause. As much as they're spreading awareness, they really do piss off the general public. Look at this here. Madam, do you support the blocking of the roads?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it's necessary? Because some argue by sitting in traffic that using more oil sitting in traffic.
I'm here today because the power to resist this genocidal ecocide government is so important that everybody stands up for what should be happening.
Yeah. But some people won't stand up because they see what you're doing and they don't want to be part of your cause. Is that kind of like counterproductive?
No, not at all. If everybody stands up, then people power can win and we can have a livable future.
I think everybody's got a right to protest, but affecting normal people doing their normal day is absolutely madness.
Yeah.
And I'd love a questionnaire like, how did all these people get here? Because let's stop oil, that's fantastic, but what's the solution? You know, there's no solution here, is there? All there is anarchy, and this can't be the way.
Do you want to speak about the political prisoners for Just Oil?
Yeah. I mean, it's a travesty of justice, it really is. But non-violent, peaceful protest, sometimes just for actually having a Zoom call and discussing actions, which are all about protecting all of us.
Against the government, is that also part of the protest as well? Or do you think the government have been quite good in terms of the policies?
The government has actually changed and made harsher penalties for just protesting.
Yeah.
We're getting an international reputation for repressive legislation about and basically blocking protests. It's horrifying.
I love buying and bacon.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on the protest?
Well, they're irrational because they cannot solve the problem. It has to be technology.
Yeah.
And as there's no technology to solve it, it's a useless cause. It means well, but it's never going to solve nothing until technology.
Well, it's a bit ridiculous, really. I've just had it out with them, really. If you want to stop the oil industry, then you have to build a hemp industry. That could end the plastic and the oil industry overnight. Also, it takes more carbon dioxide out the air than the tree does and only takes 3 months to grow. So you're dealing with climate change, oil, everything, all in one whack. Marching around screaming, stop oil, doesn't bring anyone a solution, does it? It's just a chant at the end of the day. Bring the people a solution, let them know what the solution is, you'll get more backing.
The government is actually helping. I mean, charging £12.50 ULEZ to drive into London. What are your thoughts on that? Is that a good solution?
Well, no, but we all know why and who does that, and he just pockets money. What did he got? He got offered, he got given 1.3 billion for London. What's he done? He's done nothing. Fired some fireworks in the honour of him up in the sky while the homeless look up and watch millions of pounds explode. You know, this whole thing's a joke, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm up here to celebrate St George's Day later. So.
Yeah, guys, we'll be St George's Day later after the Just Stop Oil protest, so stay tuned for that. Cheers the words, mate. What's the reason for today's event? Obviously, I know it's the last one, but what was the kind of cause of Just Stop Oil?
So it is the last one, so pretty much says what it's on the tin, so we're very concerned about all the science that tells us that we've got an anthropogenic cause of climate change, i.e. it's the burning of fossil fuels, which creates greenhouse gas, which puts it in the atmosphere, which then creates a heating effect on the planet. Yeah. We've known that for 40, 50 years, and unfortunately, the greenhouse gas continue to increase in the atmosphere, and so the heating increases. So last year was the hottest year on record. So I think we all need to think about all the different routes and avenues that we can use to try and draw attention to it, because it's not changing.
I will do it for the future. I will do it for the future.
Just ahead, there are some more activists who are blocking the road, and we're just arriving at Trafalgar Square. This is kind of like a walking tour around London at this point. Let's see what's going on here. We've got Montgomery with his sign still, net zero is the scan. I'm sure he's had quite a few discussions.
Fossil fuels. They're called fossil fuels.
Right, okay. Yes, well, I could probably name some.
So yeah, guys, you can hear what's going on. They're going to be debating all day. You heard their argument a bit earlier. Heard them just say fossil fools. But okay, all right, this is outside a pub. Uh-oh, let's see what's going to happen here then. Looks like they're blocking another road. One block in here, got police vans, got about 10 officers, and you've got blocking the road here. Obviously the public aren't too happy. Let's have a look.
Doesn't make sense, That's probably why you're blonde. Of course. How do you get home tonight? Train. Dodge.
See. So you saw two guys, that's just the general public's perception, just from two guys. They feel like, you know, we're always going to use oil, you know, how do you get home? Train, use a bus, drive a car. We're just about to enter Trafalgar Square, and here you can see it's quite a busy roundabout. Probably the most amount of cars we are going to see are going to be on this roundabout. So if any disruptions caused here, it'll be quite a wait for most of the people driving around London. And I do want to say a few words while you're here today?
Yeah, sure. The obstructions, of course, are not going to be worse than the London Marathon, are they?
Very true.
You've got to think about that, haven't you?
But at the same time, these people are in cars, wasting the petrol and oil.
Yeah.
So technically, the London Marathon is more eco-friendly, if you want to.
In certain ways, it is, absolutely.
So yeah,
we've been very successful getting no new oil fields. Just Stop Oil have stopped that, and so we've been very successful. So we're celebrating what we've done.
One reason why people get frustrated with Just Stop Oil is that people just feel we're always going to use trains, we're always going to use cars.
Trains can be electric, cars can be electric. I mean, that's the way we have to go, as fast as we possibly can to stop the climate change. And it's already affecting this country as well.
How do you feel now that half the time using the train is more expensive than driving your own car? I mean, the government
using the train's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. Using the train's a lot easier. I live in Devon.
Sure, but it's also more expensive, right? I mean, taking a train from Devon to London must be ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's the way life's going to have to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we need to go back to horse and carts. Not quite, but
it should be cost effective. It shouldn't affect the.
No, they should bring the price of trains down. The more people who travel on trains, the more the price will come down. I mean, that's what the government needs to invest in infrastructure. Needs to put more tax on cars on the road so that we can reduce the train prices.
But
encourage people to take trains.
Right now, there's no incentive. So so you can't really blame people
no,
now.
That's right. We're not blaming anyone actually, except for government should be a little bit tougher about its net zero targets.
Yeah.
So
you kind of justify this. That's why you have to come out. Is that the reason?
That's right, exactly. That's why we have to come out to remind the government that we're still on their case and that these actions will continue, and also to remind the public of us, because the public don't like us very much, but they do.
They don't.
89% of the public want the government to do more about climate change. That's the latest
But is this a way to get people on board?
It's a way to get people to join other organisations, not our organisation.
I don't think anyone is actually too happy with this. I mean, look at what's going on here. Oh, we've got good on you from the bike. All right. Wow, guys, check it out. So yeah, guys, Just Stop Oil blocking the roads again. Check it out. Oh, letting the bike through.
Free to go.
Okay, they're tightening up there. So yeah, as you can see, there's more people just behind them. Got a man coming in with his white van. People carrier. Oh, hey.
Whoa. Don't do it. Don't do it, pal. Don't do it. Hey.
Still kicking off.
Whoa. Sweet child of mine.
It's also... Yeah.
I will get on top of your car.
It's all kicking off, guys. Oh, it looks like he's arresting him. Let's get round. What's going on?
Listen, mate, if I stood in the road, though, you'd be back.
Let's get round. Look at this, guys.
No, what are you doing? Blocking the whole road. Jesus Christ. No, you're not. You don't give a shit about taxpayers.
Who's speaking?
I pay road tax. I don't need this crap. Sorry?
I said, do you listen to what I've got to say?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. We are here facilitating their right to protest, okay? We've done that in the safest way possible.
What, let them block the road?
You're going to allow me to finish, sir. I'm trying to explain this to you,
Go on, then.
okay? We are facilitating their right to protest. We are limiting them.
What about my right to get home?
You're not going to allow me to finish, are you? This is temporary. They will be gone shortly.
How long?
They are not static.
How long?
They are marching.
Where are they marching for?
They're facilitating protesters behind them, marching around this roundabout. So,
Why on the roundabout?
because that's the route that they've chosen. It's the route that they've agreed. It's the route that's been decided. It's someone's right to protest, okay? This has been decided.
So I thought this was a roundabout that you allow traffic round to go home.
Absolutely. Go this way.
Look, if an ambulance was to come through, it's a different matter, isn't it? All they're doing is crossing the road. They're allowed to protest.
So apparently when we stand in the road, the police are pushing people away now. What are your thoughts?
Because it's a problem, you want to move them. Because you're under pressure, you want to move them.
There you go.
Yeah, look, under pressure, now they want to move them.
So yeah, it seems like it comes to a point where enough is enough, and when the police get involved, they do push them back.
Unbelievable, mate.
Well done, sir.
Off the road. Mate, why's he got to get off the road?
Off the road.
What's he got to get off the road for? Contradicting each other.
So it seems like one of the officers is speaking to someone to organise the kind of disruption in the road I see there. Obviously this was always going to happen because this is one of the busiest parts when it comes to London. This roundabout in Trafalgar Square, all the tourists come, all the black cabs, and it's a complete standstill. So everyone's weekend is completely ruined at the minute. Got people on tour buses, sightseeing, saying what's going on. And you kind of saw what happened with the police in there when that man, you know, wants to drive, he can't, but these guys are allowed to protest. What's going on here?
It's not being dealt with imminently, so we can get you guys off safely and get the road moving too, okay? All right? All right, thank you very much for your time.
So they are moving. I think every time they do block the road, it is just like 5 minutes at a time. But even still, this man's got a sign from Roger Hallam. How do you feel about Roger Hallam blocking the M25? Do you not think he owes the country an apology?
No, not at all.
Why is that?
Because it's so important to save the rest of humanity by giving a little bit of inconvenience to make people aware that the newspapers aren't telling the truth.
It costs the taxpayer over £1 million.
Only because they put too many police involved. One would have done enough.
Do you think his 4-year sentencing is too harsh?
Vastly too harsh, because they won't let him out.
Yeah, and do you think that's the kind of case now for protesting? Is that people feel like almost they can't protest now?
Yeah, they're scared, and it's getting very Trumpian, and we don't want that.
I agree with them 100%.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it would be churlish of me to say, oh, but I'm inconvenienced today. No, 100% support them.
All right, guys, here you actually get a better idea of the numbers now. I think it probably is nearly like 500, I'd say. I mean, look at it. Has filled up most of this road, I'd say. Obviously got a lot of police trying to follow the crowd and make sure everyone doesn't, walk anywhere. Keep it all in line, as you can see. But a lot of arguments for and against this protest. I think in general, no one's really against, the planet being greener, but it comes at a cost, What point do you say having a protest is too much and affecting the general public, blocking roads, inconveniencing people who have nothing to do with what they're doing, but let's keep going anyway. Okay, it seems like giving out orders where to go. So literally just sending them like minions, just go stand over there and block the road. So that's the job of these two. Let's just follow them whilst everyone else behind us just kind of waits. Here we go. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I need to block the other side, she says. So yeah, buses are blocked, cars are blocked, even normal bikes are blocked. Let's have a look, guys. Nice flashy car, you got your black cab behind that as well.
Move these on to risk it, out of the way.
So it should be too long, right?
This guy's a nice Bentley here. Oh,
It's loading.
Thoughts on it, mate? Just a oil?
They're just idiots. They don't know the first thing about anything. It's completely impossible to stop oil. The world will come to an end.
Yeah.
They're just ignorant and stupid and messing up life for the rest of us.
Yeah, do you think, they argue we're spreading awareness? Do you think that's a good enough reason to do this?
No, because what you're doing is turning people who do want to reach net zero against them. Because, I'm sitting waiting for a bus. Well, it's all these morons.
How do you feel about blocking the roads at the minute so far? Obviously nothing too crazy, but inconveniencing people nonetheless.
Well, I think you're allowed to inconvenience people a little bit on behalf of saving the planet. Because the crisis is true and real. It's not a joke. A lot of people don't believe the crisis is real, but it is. You've got to take action. This is allowable. This is very minor.
People need to wake up.
They do need to wake up.
How can they realise? When will they notice the things that you're campaigning for?
It's very strange that people don't notice. I mean, some people are just greedy, but the majority of people just don't realise. They really don't.
So the man behind us on the microphone is just talking about the prisoners who have been in prison for protesting. So as much as you're for or against just oil, there have been people who have been put into prison for protesting. So it's kind of like the argument, what is the future of the UK with these kind of protesting laws? And this is what this man's kind of talking about here.
But also those who've been released from prison but are subject to the most Orwellian licence conditions that ban them from associating the Manchester 5, the Heathrow 10, knowing those have been the sentences, heading for the airports with their angle grinders. What kind of courage and defiance is that?
The media don't want to talk about it, they don't want to promote the alternative debate. That's not really concerning, because this conversation we're having here, is it publicly had often?
No, because it's kind of considered by the majority of scientists to be one. So therefore, why carry on debating flat Earth bullshit?
Hang on. So you're comparing net zero to flat Earth
No, I'm
bullshit?
comparing what you're saying. Man-made climate change is a lie. That is incorrect.
So I'm a flat earther. So what do you suggest we do?
Well, this is what I was going to ask you. What's your campaign goal?
Well, guys, this is going to be debating all day, as you can see. But here we go, delivery.
By your bicycle. No, mate, it comes by truck. It comes by truck, mate.
I didn't use
you want to replace oil with what, mate? Electric. Doesn't work, boss.
With eating less.
I said earlier we're getting a tour of London. We've got the London Eye just to the left of us. Big Ben. We'll head over there fairly shortly to catch the St George's Day Parade. But this Just Stop Oil protest is still going on. As you can see, people are walking on this side of the road. I don't think they actually are blocking anyone or anything like that. We've got these guys in red. Apparently they called some in. I forgot now, but they haven't said a word. Helicopter in the sky.
You're stopping them from going left. I'll tell him to go left and we're all good.
How does that work? How do you pick and choose who goes and who doesn't then?
I don't know.
We get sold.
It's just trying to keep people safe, that's all.
Right, okay. So the police tell you who you...
Sorry?
So the police tell you who can block, who you can't?
I don't know.
Today, yeah. You're just here to hold the signs, right? Okay.
I belong to some ancient race. I like to walk in ancient places.
Alright guys, so I believe the Just Stop Oil protest is ending up here just outside the Shell building. I think that's why there's so many police officers here. So yeah, this was the last protest for Just Stop Oil. We heard their message. Some of them aren't completely against oil, some of them just about reducing it, but of course their methods have been questioned in the past. So what we're going to do now, we're going to head down to Whitehall and catch the end of the St George's Parade. I thought I'd just make my way back down Parliament Square. If you saw my last video, the trans right protest, this is completely actually graffitied. Looks like they have cleaned it up. Obviously this sign had a far right writing on it. Let's go check the other sign as well. Looks like it has been cleaned off. Yeah, so if you did see the last video, it said trans rights and human rights on this very statue. Looks like it has been cleared today, but yeah, that was the kind of mess that we saw in the last video on this very statue. Today it looks pretty clean. Guys, we're on our way to see some English patriots. Obviously, St George's Day isn't really that celebrated across the UK as much of it is a national day, but let's keep going.
We're going for a pee in a pint.
And then we're going to come back in. Yeah, go all day. It's really
brilliant, mate. All right, take care, lads.
Come with us, mate.
All right, cool. Yeah, lads, I've been asking people, what does it mean to be British? And
what do you mean to be British?
Fucking the bollocks, mate.
To be proud of your country, yeah. To get up there, yeah. And that's just it, mate. Yeah. Be proud. Yeah, be proud of where you come from. Yeah. Look at all these buildings. Yeah. English made that. Yeah. The England made that.
Alright guys, so we have just arrived at the St George's Day event. We're just outside Downing Street actually, and here we see all the English patriots out in full force today. Check it out.
Since when holding this flag represents racism and prejudice? I will not tolerate such words. I will not tolerate such actions. And tarnish. Why is the tolerant majority bowing to the intolerant minority?
Why is St George's Day so important?
St George's Day is important because it's vital that the British people know our history. And it's as simple as that, really. We need to be aware of why we celebrate St George's Day, which is just to bring the community together, which is obviously it's the anniversary of his death. It's a big celebration, but it's not celebrated enough. Like you see all the St Patrick's Day parades and stuff like that in England. But you rarely see stuff to do with St George, and it's sort of like being a patriot, for lack of a better term. Seems to be looked down upon.
Proud to be English.
Exactly.
That's it. Nothing else. Proud to be English.
Yeah,
celebrate England.
I've been asking a lot of people today, do you think when we're celebrating England is kind of diminishing at the minute and people are feeling...
It's a disgrace what's going on. It's an absolute disgrace what's going on. Yeah. I'm proud to be English.
Proud to be English.
St George was killed in Palestine for being Christian. But people are allowed to hang Palestine flags out the window. It's an absolute disgrace.
Well, look around you up here, the war monuments, the women of World War II, you know, the statues of these people we've got up here, you know, the cenotaph. So much to be proud of.
Yeah.
And the kids are not taught it. We wasn't taught it, really. We was taught about the Second World War because we was very close to it, you know.
Right.
I mean, I was only born a few years after it. But, you know, they've actually subdued the English people. Not the British, the English people have been subdued. We're an island nation people. I class the Scottish, English, Irish and Welsh as the same people.
Yeah.
Look, if you go to the Greek islands, I know they're island people. They're different from the mainland people, if you get what I mean, of Europe. They regard themselves, the islanders, well, I regard us as one people, really, you know. We're divided by a bit of water, but we're very similar. And Irish people come over here 200 years ago, built the canals, helped on the railways, integrated, you know, and that's all we want, don't we? People to integrate into our society.
And do you think that's happening right now, do you think?
No, 100%. It's not happening. You've only got to go up north. Is way worse than it is down here. But it's starting to happen down here in London. You know, we've got enclaves of people that never mix with the indigenous people.
How do you feel that some people say like flying the English flag is racist these days?
I know what I'd like to say. I'd like to say, yeah. Not on camera.
We're in England. So why would it be racist to fly the flag of the country? Like, we very much appreciate the the opportunity that we've been given. Like, if you love this country, you are British. Like as much as I am a Nigerian import, I still really love the opportunities that have been granted. Like, I can be able to get any opportunity that I'd like in this country. That's why I wave the flag. That's why I support this, because they've been being so oppressive to British people. As much as people, scoff and laugh, at the end of the day, like, there's been horrendously unfair treatment to people who just love Britain. And if we turn away from the values that made us great, it's not going to be great anymore.
I'm here today to join my English friends because it's their culture. And if I'm living in Britain, I need to be with them with all their celebrations. So I'm here to join them.
And this is the truth. Togetherness, fair play, justice, family, honour, a great country. Otherwise, why would so many people want to come and live here? Just give us our day. This is our national day.
Well, because you've just said down it.
Yeah, get rid of it.
He's getting rid of it now.
Right.
Leave it out. Calm down. What's your problem?
You can't drink and open space in Wesley.
How you doing,
How you doing, mate?
Nice to meet you.
How's today been? How's today been?
Yeah, it's been f***ing amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just proud to be here and proud to show my support for my country at the end of the day.
Why is St George's Day so important though? It seems like we don't really celebrate it.
It symbolises our country in the best way, do you know what I mean?
One opportunity to represent our country.
We can't be losing our identity.
Because we're losing our heritage at the moment.
Why do you think that is?
These people.
Yeah, a lot of it to do with this, but we're losing our heritage because the country's not ours anymore, you know what I mean? We've got ridiculous immigration at the moment, and we're losing our religion, which has always been a Christianity country. We're losing that.
First and foremost, as you can see in the flag, it's about the cross. It's about Christianity. Throughout our laws and throughout our culture and throughout our values, it's been Christian.
Do you think those are being eroded at the minute?
Of course, yeah. We've essentially been taken over by Islamism and atheism. Like, they're turning away from the very thing that stops us from being lawless.
I think it's coming back.
Okay.
I actually believe it's coming back, and I didn't think it would. But I really do believe that Christians are building up now. There are more Christians, more attendance. There was a 47% increase in the Catholic Church this year. No one knows why. And I think it's to do with the way things are at the moment. Some people are looking for purpose, identity, or something to belong to, for strength and guidance. And I think they're finding that on the pews now, in the local churches, or what I would call the hospital. It's a local hospital where you go to heal yourself. So.
But it seems like the way, we're taught almost to hate our culture and hate where we're from. But how can we change that?
I know. Well, this is the slow walk forward. This is, like Confucius said, the longest journey starts with the first step. Well, we're taking those steps, and we're starting to go down that road. I don't think it's going to go away.
What was the reason for putting on today's event?
Do you know what, Wes? It's St George's Day. It's a celebration. Now, what I'd done, a lot of critics said to me I didn't hold it on St George's Day. Now, there was a reason behind this. One, because I didn't want people to have a day off work because of the cost of living now.
Yep.
But two, I wanted to prolong the celebrations.
Yeah.
So all week the country kept seeing these flags. So we had the celebration last weekend. One's in the week. This one today, and I believe we've got one tomorrow in Manchester.
Right.
Also, people moan about our culture being attacked, our identity.
Yeah.
Well, then get off your horses and celebrate.
Yeah.
Now, we've done this today. Fantastic music, fantastic acts, right? Right up against it we were. And it was a good turnout.
Yeah.
It could have been better turnout, but that's how I am. But so,
Yeah, why don't people turn out and kind of appreciate their culture and where they're from? We see it, I've spoken to a couple of people, we see it in all other countries besides England.
What I'm getting the hump with, Wes, is there's people out there who bang the drum on YouTube and TikTok and Spaces about rallying you up, and they don't even come to these events.
There's been arguments like recently, we celebrate every culture's, yearly celebrations besides the joy, but do you think part of it is the English people just to turn up and come out?
Well, it's accountability. Do you think Muhammad in the Quran said, make sure the English don't celebrate St. George? didn't. Of course he didn't.
Yeah.
It's the English. This is what I'm saying. Accountability is sitting on your. You've become too comfortable, sitting in your chair, moaning, liking. This country is built on working hands and unity and community, not on likes and shares.
Yeah.
And I can't understand. But I'm not going to judge. People do that. I do what I do. I celebrate this every year.
Yeah.
My rose come off my chest, so I've been dancing. But
some people might have this almost guilt to be English and celebrate Englishness. Is that part of it, would you say, or not?
Well, that's down to one's integrity. I certainly wouldn't feel guilty. I'm proud of my history. I'm proud of the infrastructure my country's got and given, the economies. There has been bad times, you know. But say what? I mean, I don't hate the Romans for invading us. You know, where do you want to go with this? So I'm proud of infrastructure. I'm proud of defeating the Spanish Armada, the Duke of Wellington, defeating the plague, the Great Fire of London, Emma Pankhurst, the internet, the war. I'm proud. You know, why would you not be proud? But you can't. You can take the horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink the water.
All right, guys, so that was the St George's Day event. We spoke to a couple of patriots who told us how they're feeling about the state of the country and where they think England is going. We also saw the Just Support protest, no arrests. We saw a bit of disruption in the streets, but it seems like right now there's all sorts of stuff going on in England and around the UK. So stay tuned for more, and I'll see you for the next one.